Hi, Sock Monkey Trekker fans. Greg here.
Hi, I'm Karen from Sock Monkey Trekkers, and we've had a lot of people ask us to do a tour of the camper, and so we're going to attempt to do that today. So I'm going to start. I'm at by the door, the entrance to the camper. And if you've never been in a four-wheel camper, it's not a full-size door. You have to bend down to get into it, but it's very easy to get in and out of. And what I love is it has this screen door, so you can have just the front door open with the screen, and it gets really nice airflow coming in. I'm not going to open it now because it's darker out. So we have the side dinette option, and we love this option. For the Fleet, which is the camper we have a Toyota Tacoma, and we have the Fleet. It's a 2019, and for us it's perfect. When you're sitting here, I can use this table when I'm cooking, or if we're working or doing something, and it rotates, and you can get kind of all different setups with it. And Greg and I sit here and we'll have dinner. I use this to help make dinner. Anyway, I really like it. The other thing is this cabinet, or this chair, flips and can be facing this way, which is nice when the top's down and we're wanting to crawl in. And it also flips completely over to make into a bed. I sleep on this bed, and it can be really super comfortable, and you can basically probably fit 3 adults in this camper pretty comfortably, depending on how tall they are. This is a
Thermal pack.
This is a thermal pack. Sorry, I couldn't remember what it's called. We're cheap. We didn't want to buy the one that you can buy through a four-wheel camper because it's like $900, so we made one. It's not completely finished yet, but basically I can show you, you've got this strip of Velcro right here. This piece here comes with the camper. And what I did is basically we cut this material. We purchased the fabric from a company out of Seattle, and we'll put the link in the description. We did get extra yardage, and I did do a whole blog about this, so I'm not going to go into all the detail. You can see the blog on Sock Monkey Trekkers. But what we did is we basically glued to the top of this the Velcro that sticks to the strip that already is here. And our plan is we're going to cut it in half because the windows are underneath. And then this little lip comes with the camper. And our plan is to cut this, and then we'll put another piece of Velcro right there, and then these will fit perfectly. And it makes a huge, huge difference in the temperature in here. So this is how the window comes from the factory. You get this boat material, and it has Velcro. And then there's an inner plastic piece, and then this is a screen. There's a lot of nice fresh air that comes out in through this window, and you can just close this up, and then that gets the cold air from coming in. And then if you add this piece, it's even warmer. We like having the windows open during the day, but at night it's good to close it up. And then this strip right here is Velcro receiver is what came with the camper, and that's what we hooked our thermal pack to. So this is how you would put the thermal pack on, and you basically just connect it up here to the Velcro, and then you move it all the way across, and then we tuck it in back here. I want to also show the fans. This is a fantastic fan that came with the camper. I wish we had gotten 2. That's probably the one thing I wish we had done differently. But you just twist this for it to go up, and then you've got the switches to turn it on or off, and it can go upward or pull the air in. I open this when I'm cooking. Even at night, if we have it all thermaled up and closed up, I just open this, and that gets enough airflow that I can cook.
And this is our other one, but it's not the fantastic fan. It's just for airflow above the sleeping area.
But if I were doing it over again, I would definitely put 2 fans in. I think it would be worth it to do that. Okay, we got a lot of the stuff that came with the package, except we did not get the water heater. We didn't feel we needed it. If we need hot water, I boil it on the stove. But I love this setup right here. We have the flat sink and stove. So this just pops up, and there's a little water pump right here. This That easy. Drains out. There's a hose and a collector at the bottom. Love this sink. Some people complained that it wasn't large enough. I have not had any problems doing my pans and dishes and stuff in here, and I really, really like this a lot. And the 2-burner stove. This pops up. It is a little hard to keep clean, but it's a lot easier than some of the ones that have the holes where stuff can drop down inside. This one does not. Very easy to light. We have our drawer for silverware and stuff, and we love this little lighter, which we got on Amazon, and it basically is a USB. You can charge it, and you just press this, light it, and there you go. Super easy. I have used both burners. I often use both burners, and it's a joy to cook in this camper. This is a big step up from the van. So we had a van for a number of years. It was a Nissan Envy 2500, and it was a high top. And we had everything all worked out, and we've had this camper for just over a year. But one thing that we brought with us from the camper, from the van, is our putty bah, our camper's toilet. And there's a nice little shelf down here that it fits underneath. And then we also have a shower tent, and we use that shower tent outside. And if you've never heard of poo powder, look it up, buy it, you want it. Definitely. Okay, now I'm going to talk about our refrigerator. One thing Greg did, we've heard some people complain that standard clasp didn't work real well. So we just added a baby lock, and we've not had any problems, and it works really easily. One thing about these refrigerators, you cannot open them with one hand. You do have to have 2 hands to open it. And we picked 2-way. And the reason we wanted the 2-way is that does electric off of our solar, or it can do shore power. I did not want one where you had to be even and level if you were using propane. We're on our 2nd week of camping. We can easily fit a couple weeks worth of food in here. There is a little freezer. We just use it to keep like frozen veggies or frozen fruit. We don't use the little ice tray that comes with it, but I know some people do. So there's that, and then we always close this for travel. I was worried at first we weren't going to have a lot of storage, but it's actually shocking how much you can fit. Under the sink, I have our dishes, our cups, plates, a couple of pots and pans, paper towels, our fire suppressant, and everything fits in there just perfectly, and that's everything that I need. There's a couple of other small storage units here that we keep, like duct tape and that kind of stuff. And then this is our game drawer, and it has all the electronics in it. And Greg will talk about that in a little bit. When we travel, we do store a lot of stuff in the camper. So this aisleway has our chairs and other things in it, but we're in camp mode. The top is up. We've got our food bags up here where they're easily accessible. And we travel with each of us having one of these suit packs, which we think work really well. And then we have a couple of these for jackets and shoes and stuff like that. And everything fits really nicely here and on this little shelf that's down here. Up above, there's these 3 little cubbies, and you can actually fit quite a bit of stuff in here. We have like nail clippers, our bear horn, our Lucy Light, love the Lucy Light, bandages, bear spray, that kind of stuff. All right, then the last thing I think I'm going to show you over here, this little cabinet, when I saw it on the website, I thought, nothing, that's so small, why did they even bother? But I have to say, you can fit a lot of stuff in there. I have our spices, I have Cholula, our spaghetti sauce, Reynolds wrap, all kinds of things that I'm able to keep in there. Our ghee, salad dressing. You can actually fit a lot in there. The floor that comes with the camper was okay, but it was cold and we weren't real sure that we liked it. So we found some of this playground mat material. Greg cut it to size and we really like it. It's soft
It was just at Lowe's that we got it.
Yeah, it wasn't expensive.
It was cheap.
Like $12 or something like that for a package of them. And Greg just cut it to size, and it makes a big difference. It's dirty, but it's easy, much easier to clean, and we can wet wipe it, which was easier than the floor that came with the camper. I also want to show you under this little storage. I've seen some people keep different things. Greg and I love to go to hot springs. So what we keep in here is our robes, 2 robes and 2 big towels, and then our water shoes. So that's what we keep under here, but I've seen people keep clothes or food or other stuff like that, and then it's just that easy to put together, and there you go.
Let's do the table. Let me show you how the table comes off. You just loosen it up a little. It's got these big screws, and right now I'm just going to put it up here. This is where I put it at night right now. We're constantly changing the way we do things to see if we can get it a little better. And so this is what we're doing right now. Unscrew this. Oh, we've got a clock. Actually, it's a little thermostat. This is the inside 61. Right now outside it's 33. And that's a little device that's sitting on a table outside, a little transceiver or transmitter outside. 30. It's going to get cold tonight. This is going to be our coldest night. And we're at Owl Creek, way up just west or east of Ridgeway, Colorado. Okay, so the electronics setup is right here. Here's a 12-volt plug. Here are 4 5-volt USB plugs that you can use. And when you're plugged into shore power, 120 volt, this is the 120 volt you can use. Then down here is water. We don't have much water because we didn't want to carry much water. And we're going to run the heater tonight, so that should stay non-frozen. And then the battery's full because we've been driving, and we have 200 watts of solar on the roof. We'll show you who did that and what it looks like later on during the day. And then this is the power for the pump, and it just pumps a little while till it's fully pumped. And then the heater's right here. The lowest setting is 50, and the heater is really wonderful. What we've been doing when it's really cold is setting it for 50 at the lowest setting, and it goes on a few times. The thermal pack really helps to keep it warm. And when we come in here to go to bed, we usually crank it up, let it go for a while till it's maybe a little over 60, 61, 62, and then we shut it off and get ready for bed. And then when we go to bed, we'll turn it on to 50 and leave it on all night, 50, and in the morning we'll shut it off.
And it maybe comes on 3 or 4 times during the night.
We don't know, but it doesn't seem like it comes on a lot with the thermal pack. Without the thermal pack, it seems like it comes on about twice as much. I've got the Max Tracks in the crack between the cab and the camper, and I'll show you that when we do the outside. We both wear Cpaps at night, and it's kind of a pain in the ass, but and it uses a lot of electricity. That's why we have two large batteries, and I'll tell you later how big they are. But they're AGMs, and I think we have about 260 watts, but I'll double check. So these are the converters for 12 volts to the power that the Cpap needs.
You can buy those online easily.
Yeah, you can get these. And I just set them up here, get them all set, and leave the 12 volt connector down here. There's 2 of them. The next step is this thing. It's a It's a 3-way splitter for 12 volt. And these things are really a pain because they're just not deep enough, and I could not find deep sockets for these, so it's constantly popping out. Now I've got crammed in this little crack they provide a bunch of my nighttime gear, some warm booties, a sleeping hat, a pillow, my dog bone that I sleep with, that's my pillow, a nice warm woolly pants, and a nice shirt, nice warm shirt, and then another booty, and my hat's missing. I gotta crawl around and find my hat. So here is the 12 volt, and we don't plug it in until we're actually gonna go to bed, but this is the part that's driving me crazy, and I gotta work on a solution. These will not stay in, but what I've found is if I cram them together, they kind of push on each other and kind of stay in, and you very gently put them in this crack, and you don't touch them, and hopefully they'll stay in. And people have asked a lot about the Cpaps, and with our setup, with our 2 very large AGM batteries that are located right here, actually, I can show you, because I took the bolts off because you don't really need the bolts. The AGMs are right here, and I think it's a total of 260, but I will figure that out and I'll put it in the description. The red arc, it connects to the battery system, the car's alternator, so that it can charge off the alternator. The red arc and the battery setup I'll talk about in the description, what we've got. The emergency shutoff is here, and the water tank, you can just barely see it right here, and it's a 20-gallon water tank. Those batteries just barely fit, 2 of them. So the wrap up on this electrical is Cpaps are very, very doable. We do them every night when we're camping, and we get enough solar usually to charge up. It barely ever goes down below 3 lights, which, you know, it's almost full every day. And then if there's sun, it fills to all 4 lights, fully charged. And if it doesn't, you can run your motor and use the alternator power.
We've never run out of battery, though.
We've never run out of battery. We've never even come close. It's usually, we'll wake up and it's either 3 lights or all 4 lights. So thank goodness electrical is not a problem. Okay, so here are the Cpaps all set up. They're plugged in to the converters, and we don't use the humidifiers. They're part of the Cpaps, but I don't use them. She doesn't use them. They're just a pain in the ass to us, and I don't see any advantage to them. I've gotten used to using them without the humidifiers. And then what I do when I'm going to go to bed is you can slide this out to make a huge bed. It can go twice this big, and well, I should have got pads. I got 2 pads. It comes with 4 of these pads, but I only use 2 to make a fairly large bed for 1 person. There we go. And then that's my bed.
So Greg is 6'1", and he sleeps diagonally, which is why, even though we both can fit up here, we don't. I sleep down here on this pad.
We did for a long time sleep together. We just started this method about this trip.
This trip. We decided, I said, well, let me try sleeping down here because I do roll around a lot. And I will tell you, this sounds maybe TMI, we've been married 41 years. So we've camped a lot together. But anyway, we just decided this was the best way and it works for us. And you could fit 3 adults in here. This bed down here, this is just the seat folded over. And then this pad right back here, this little space, goes all the way down. Now, you could take these out it looks like, well, why would you want to have this luggage here? But what I actually found is that it's more comfortable because it kind of gives you something to sleep against. So I can show you. I don't have my pillow here yet, but this is very comfortable. I'm a side sleeper, so it works, but you can also sleep on your back, and it makes a nice little fort. So I think I said at the beginning of the film, and if I didn't, I'll say it now. Having a four-wheel camper is definitely playing a game of Jenga. You do have to move things, but it's still more comfortable and a lot more convenient than our van, and we loved our van. So I want to talk about the window here. There is a window, actually a pretty nice window that goes all the way across down here. But when you're sitting here, you're so low that you have to bend down to look out. So we tend to use the upper windows to look out, which right now are covered with the thermal pack, but that's what we use. So we keep this curtain closed most of the time because, quite frankly, this is really great storage. So that's what we use this for. This little shelf is storage. Okay, the door has this little curtain right here, but you can't close the curtain unless you go outside because you've got this screen door. So what we do is, this is the cord that attaches to the two packs to help lower the roof, and Greg's going to demonstrate that later. But we put up two command hooks, one on each side, and then the bungee hooks, and then you just do a little towel. We use this at night because then if I want to look out, I can easily look out. We also use it if we do a pit stop and we're going to the restroom. You just put that up, and then you pull out your toilet, and there you go. We use a 5-gallon bucket. We had a taller one in the van, but this one fits perfectly underneath here. And we just use trash bags, a couple of trash bags.
And we have a step that we use.
Oh yeah.
Hold on.
Here's the clue. We bought one of these little steps because I had trouble getting up to the bed. So I'm like 5'7". But we also found that another feature.
It's a short toilet bucket because only a short toilet bucket will fit under that shelf.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see this.
Probably not.
But it's a very short area. So we got the 5-gallon bucket, which is the shorter bucket, and then we put it on the step in order to make it comfortable to sit on.
And you want to explain this?
Okay, for guys only, this is amazing. Get these containers from the store. This one is a 7th generation detergent, laundry detergent, but there's a bunch of different kinds of products that come in this size, and this is so amazing. I'm glad I discovered it. You can pee in it, and you can pee in it at night. You do not get out of bed. I wish I discovered this when I was younger. They probably didn't have this size when I was younger, but men, do not get out of bed to go to the bathroom at night. Use this. It's nearly unspillable. It can be tilted way over if you've gone a couple times at night like I do. It will not spill. I have never spilled it. It's almost impossible because of the shape. The water holds in there. It's amazing. So this is my most important clue, and I just leave it next to me at night, and so that's great.
And the last thing I wanted to talk about was the command hooks. So anyone knows about using command hooks, but what we did is we put a little strip of Velcro on the back, and then what you can do is you can connect it to the Velcro strip that comes with this, and then you can we hang bags. Here's a hat, a purse, that kind of stuff. You can hang jackets, anything like that you can hang on here. And the Velcro works really, really good.
You just have to put them in the right place.
Yeah, we're going to have to, now that we have this thermal pack up, we're probably going to have to put a strip of Velcro on the outside, and then that would fit again.
That would be our garbage bag.
Yep. So that's basically a tour of the inside. We like this size. It may seem a little small for two people, but we think it works, and we love having the Toyota Tacoma. We've been having a blast these last 2 weeks going off-roading, being up on mountain passes and places hard to get to. And then we have our camper. So we highly recommend the 4-wheel camper. We really are excited. We got ours out of Rocky Mountain 4-wheel camper, north of Denver, and we really like it. It's a great vehicle. So these are the standard lights that come with the 4-wheel camper, and one hit turns them on, and then if you hold them down, they get brighter or dim. And there are 3 sets of them.
One there, one
over the bed,
and then one over my bed, right here,
and the one here,
and then the one over the kitchen.
Yeah, and they work really nice. We like them. Although I've heard other people complain that they lose some of the lights. This one is working fine.
This one has.
But this one here, you can see has several
there's a
missing.
couple lights that burnt out.
It's a minor thing. We really like them.
Yeah, we're not too upset.
No, it's okay. So that's our tour of the inside. Hi, it's Karen again. We're going to continue our tour outside. We're boondocking today, and we're up Owl Creek Pass, and we're at the Courthouse Mountain Trailhead, down a Forest Service road.
In Colorado.
In Colorado, up above Ridgeway. So I want to talk a little bit. We've been asked questions about, well, how do you know that it's a good boondocking spot? How do you find them? We'll talk about finding them later, but right now I just want to talk about what makes a good boondocking spot. So one of the ways that you can tell that you're at a boondocking spot is you go down a Forest Service road and you'll see a fire ring usually, or an open area. You don't want to make new tracks. You want to try to be somewhere where folks have been before, so you're not tearing up the road. A few things you need for boondocking. This table is really helpful. When you are going to be out on your own, there isn't going to be campground services like a bathroom, toilets, tables, that type of thing. So we have this collapsible table. It goes down into a pack about this big, and we like it. We can cook on it, we can eat at it, and it's a great setup. Our camp chairs recently died, and so I got this new one called a pod rocker, and I really like it. It can be a stationary chair, or you can go back, and it's perfect for watching the stars. And then the other chair we have is, we call it a love seat. It's this little double chair, and it's a nice height, and Greg likes it because he can sit here and have stuff next to him, like his readers and that type of stuff. The table is from Alps Mountaineering, that's ALPS, and the chair is from GCI Outdoor. They make both a pod rocker and then a full rocker that has the arms, but we wanted this kind of wider, more comfortable one.
And we got both of these on Amazon.
So I want to talk about some of the things we also bring with us when we're boondocking. We really like this green elephant. It's called a utilitent. You can shower in it. You can use it for bathroom, and very easy to pop up. We'll demonstrate how to put it down and into its bag because that's a little bit harder later. But we set this up. One, you can drive away and it marks your spot, but then also it allows you to use the facilities or get dressed or take a shower. Another thing, we do a little mini lecture. Please, please, please leave no trace. Greg and I have been boondocking for about 10 years, and we have seen a huge increase in trash and, unfortunately, human waste. And people are just leaving their waste in beautiful spots.
And toilet paper.
And the Forest Service is gonna and has been shutting down sites. So we always bring large bags with us, the big gallon or multi-gallon black bags, so that we can clean up our site. And I know lots of other people do too. But for the bathroom, this pickaxe from Harbor Freight is where we got it. Works great. All you have to do is dig a trench, and it has to be 6
inches, yeah.
Long, 6 inches deep. Don't do it near a creek. and you can bury your waste. We also carry a small backpacker's tent with us that we'll set up. We didn't set it up because we're only here for one night, but we'll set it up, and that way we can put things, it's kind of like an extra garage. Things that are in our back seat, we'll put them in that tent, and then that way we can drive the truck off.
And it kind of marks your spot when you're not there,
right,
to let people know you're
the
there.
Small tent plus this, we'll both mark those. The other thing we bring is an extra bucket in addition to the toilet. And the reason we do that is, again, when you're burying your waste, you're just burying the waste. The bags that we use for the toilet, we crumble those up, keep them in a spare bucket, and we throw those away. That's not going to disintegrate in the ground, and you don't want to use that.
And it's a sealed bucket so that you can keep the smells from coming out.
And
It keeps the smell, keeps the spills.
The other thing, we carry these pieces of wood with us. We do have both chocks, which block the wheels, and the orange pylons, or whatever they're called, risers that you can drive up on, but usually we'll just use the wood. Here are the chocks that we use, and that's so that we can make sure the car's not going to roll at all. Okay, with the four-wheel camper, there's different options for lights. It's going to be hard to see because it's daytime, but we have this little light, which is kind of nice because it's not too obnoxious to the people around you if there's anyone around you. But then we also have the flood lamps. There's two of them, and they brighten up the area behind you if you want to see what's going on, or if a bear came into camp, you could turn them on. So one of the things we wanted to do was mount either water or gas extra cans back here, which you've seen a lot of people do. But in the newer models, they lowered these lights, and unfortunately, there's not enough space now. So we're still trying to work out a solution for that. Okay, different people use different chairs. Hey, Birdie. Use different chairs or stools to get in and out. We just got a cheap, it's called Costco, C-O-S-C-O, that I think we got at Harbor Freight. That's what we use. Occasionally, because we do boondock, we're not level, and so sometimes Greg has to dig a hole so that this doesn't get stuck when you open and close the door. Over here is our propane, and we have, this model comes with two 10-pound tanks that hold 2.5 gallons.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Of each. Sorry, we'll correct that if I have it wrong. But this is pretty good. We don't have to get propane after every single trip. And like last night, it was 21 degrees outside, and we set our heater to 50. And so it was coming on and off, but we still have plenty of propane left. The other thing that we have that I want to talk about is this little hook. The door latches right here, and that will hold this, and then you can separate the screen door so that you can have just the screen door open if you want. All right, one problem with the screen door that we've heard a lot of other people have is this little plastic piece. You have to be able to open it to open the door, but it cracks really easily, and almost everyone we know, when they travel, they put stuff here. Well, if that stuff slides against this and it's plastic, it's going to break. So we just taped it. It's kind of not that great of a solution, but the screen itself works really, really well. Okay, on the outside of the camper, this is the drain pump or drain faucet. You turn this and the water that is stored will be drained out. Up here, you've got the back of the refrigerator, and it says no garbage, no trash. We don't put trash in here, but we do have a leveler, our little broom, our lights that we put under the truck to keep mice and stuff away, and then I don't know what this is.
It's electric meter.
And then our extra gas nozzle. So we keep that there. Don't know if you're allowed to, but we do. Here is the 30 amp.
120.
It's a 125 volt 30 amp.
30 amp, yeah.
But we also have an adapter because a lot of times you're going places that have just regular. And
that's for 15 amp.
Right.
The adapters for 15 amp.
And then we carry with us a really, really long, like probably 100-foot extension cord that's the really heavy duty orange type that you can have outdoors in the rain in case we are someplace with hookups. And this is the back of the heater. You want to be careful not to touch that because that does get very hot. This is the sink drain. We put it into one of these white plastic things, but we really do not like this solution, this collapsible, so we actually plan on getting a bucket, and we're going to use that instead. Again, when you're boondocking, don't just drain onto the ground. You've got pieces of scraps of food and stuff in there, and you really want to capture that and then dump it someplace that isn't near the river. This is the locked port for putting in your water, and there's two different receptors there. One where you can just dump water in, and the other one if you're hooked up to water at like a campsite.
So I've been looking for a place to store the Max Tracks. These aren't real Max Tracks, these are knockoff Max Tracks, so they were cheaper, but they seem pretty good. And I'll put a link to what they are in the notes, description. Some people have built a mount on the side, and that's a pretty good idea, but I just decided we got this gap here, it's kind of wasted. So I just bungeed them up here and do a cable and lock it so that the casual thief cannot just walk away with them. And then I built a little wood frame, a rectangular frame that holds them up so that the Max Tracks don't fall into the crack. And there's bungees on both sides to keep it against the truck.
And we've been on some really, really bumpy off-roads, and it hasn't moved at all. It's no problem.
Seems to work pretty good so far. Okay, this is how we put down the top of the camper. First thing I do is set up the bed, get it all laid out so it's in the bed area, and then I put these extra, the two pads here, and I put the pillow here, and these will get squashed down. And then I pull out the bed so that it's kind of squishing against these pads, keeping them in place. And this is where I put Karen's sleeping bag, and she has an extra comforter inside her sleeping bag.
Which works great, having it on the inside.
Yeah, it keeps her warm. So I got this in here, and then I bring, it's flat enough to bring some more of my sleeping bag down a little bit, and my comforter down a little bit, so that it doesn't get, it's not too high when I bring the tent down, the tent part of the camper down. So there, that's pretty good. So now I'm pretty much ready to lower the front half. We lower the front half first, and then Karen and I load the rest of the area with the back half still up so we can maneuver in here. Before I do that, I'm going to open up the vent, and I'm going to do air out so that the air gets sucked out. And I also have to close the door to make a vacuum in here. And that helps bring the walls in. And I also have to put up bungees, the bungees that are supplied with the camper. And pulling up the thermal pack. And I find the little hook. This one's a little hard to get to with the slide out of the bed. And I get that hook in there. And then I like to pull the thermal pack out a little bit. And now that those are in, we're going to close the door, and I'm going to turn on the vacuum, and then I'll lower this. Okay, so I put a little string on the door so I could pull it shut without having to climb outside. And now I'm going to turn on the fan, and it's going to start sucking the air out. So now I'm ready to pull it down. So you pull it down slowly. The air's sucking the walls in. Let's throw the bungee's helping. And of course, I don't want the monkey to get squashed, so I put him over here. And that's how we get the front down.
So here's the camper with just the first part put down, and then we'll start loading stuff up. Another thing we wanted to say is if you're going to be boondocking, If you can see them in the distance, you're going to be with cows. A lot of the National Forest Service roads also have grazing.
So in order to make it easier to lower the back end of the roof, I like to flip this chair over so I can sit down when I do it. And now Karen's going to load it up and I'm going to help her, and then we'll lower the back end. The utility tents are a little hard to pack, and we watched another couple spend 2 days trying to pack this thing. But it's really simple once you know what to do. So the trick is, you fold it from the back end, get it folded over, make sure you're grasping the back. That's the most important thing.
And you want the non-net side on this side. And then I'm going to step on it.
It helps to have someone step on it. And then you roll this over like you're making a Tootsie Roll, and fold that over, then grasp it from the side and keep rolling, and it just automatically goes whomp into a circle. I've watched so many people have trouble. We had trouble.
Us included.
But once you get it, it's simple. Okay, now that everything's in here packed away, and I've put this bungee on the window, and now we lock down the fridge with the baby lock and make sure everything looks good. And now I'm going to turn on the fan to blow air out and bring down, with the door shut, bring down the back end of the roof. If I close it down, I always check the propane, make sure it's turned off. And I'm going to pull it out, this tank out, because I'm not sure how full it is. I'm going to shake it and see how much fuel is in there. Okay, well I shook it and it feels like it's pretty full, but I've also on Amazon bought this valve that's for a big 20-gallon tank. So it only shows on these half full if it's full. So I'm going to open this up, and it's pretty full. It looks like it's got a lot of fuel left in it. So I would say we're good for a few more nights.
Which is amazing considering how cold it was last night.
Yeah, we were using it pretty much all night.
So here's everything finally packed up, and one thing we do is we always put a piece of wood here to keep anything from flying and hitting the plastic and breaking it more.
The last step is to make sure all the tenting is not going to get crunched by the edge. And when I use the fan to blow the air, pull the air out, it does a pretty good job of sucking everything in, so I usually don't have to worry about it too much. And now I'm going to latch it. Then I do that on the other side.
Everyone should have a final checklist that both partners, if you have two people with you, double check. So I walk around the camper, make sure all of these latches are latched. I make sure this is closed, that the water is closed. I double check and ask that the propane's been turned off. Make sure this is locked, that we've turned off the furnace, excuse me, not the furnace, the heater, and that we have locked the refrigerator.
And the lights are out.
And that all lights are out.
And I've actually one time didn't latch it down, and we drove a little ways, and it kind of popped up, and we latched it down after that.
So there you go, that's the outside of tour of our four-wheel camper fleet.
And what a beautiful spot this is near El Paso. Oh, look, there's a hang glider.
Oh, cool.
Wow. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a hang glider above this tree flying. Wow, that guy's something. Anyway, this is near Owl Creek Pass in Colorado, and it's just amazing.
And get out of the campgrounds.
Yeah,
places in the wild. It's so beautiful. You get to see sights you'd never see in a campground.
Yeah, that's right, but not too many of you.
Yeah, it's really terrible. It's really horrible. You don't want to be out here. All right.